next we have Pedro, who will be talking to us about open sourcing Bitcoin design, how to create, collaborate, and contribute to the creation of Bitcoin. Pedro, please, welcome to the stage. Are you ready? Hold on. Are we ready? Yep, okay. Sorry about that. There you go.
Here, I can do it
here. Here? Okay.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to my talk. I'm here to talk to you on how you can contribute to Bitcoin. At least in my experience, it's been a very exciting journey. My background is in design, and I'm going to show you a little bit of what I've learned in my fiat life, but also in the Bitcoin life. So, one second. So Satoshi wants you to contribute to Bitcoin because Bitcoin is an open source, open network of people and developers and builders. And in the end, you need to be the one building the tools that you want to use, or at least help other ones build the tools. We're all here because we like Bitcoin, am I right? No? But we're also here because we want to stack more Bitcoin. Those two are easy things. Stacking comes natural to us, and liking Bitcoin is something that we already know we all do. We can also earn some Bitcoin. Earning Bitcoin is a little bit more complicated. It requires you to find someone that actually has Bitcoin and is looking for something that you can provide. It requires you to go outside of yourself and talk to people. But there's something else you can do. You can help build Bitcoin. Do you build Bitcoin? Building Bitcoin is anything that actually moves the technology and the network and the people closer to Bitcoin. Whatever makes Bitcoin easier to use, faster, more private. And if you want to make the leap and decide that you want to help build Bitcoin, how would you do it? I found the way that works for me, and I hope it works for you, is you take yourself, you take a good look inside yourself, and you try to ascertain or define what your skill is. What is that you've been doing in the last 5 to 10 years, the stuff that you've learned and you've become really good at. You mix it with your interest, the stuff that you already talk endlessly, the stuff that people ask you to shut up, the stuff that you already volunteer your time. And you mix it also with your purpose. This is something that I think it helps to go back to your childhood and see the values that you grew up with. What is it that you want to build for your future that you used to want to dream when you're young? And in the end, the hard part, you find the demand. You see what the market wants from you, what other strangers know from you, and you try to monetize that because you don't want to go broke contributing to Bitcoin. You need to make it sustainable, and sustainability signs is a signal that people actually want what you're doing. So you decide you want to contribute to Bitcoin. My recommendation is you try to see where you're struggling with Bitcoin and how a new contribution from yourself can improve your own life, but also improve someone else's life. You find a project for yourself. You can also support another project. You find another Bitcoiner that's looking for support, either monetary or just with time. Maybe you help promote someone else's project. And then once you start contributing to one project, you can also distribute that contribution and contribute to multiple projects in different ways. You don't need to just donate. You can go talk about other projects, or you can just donate all your money to different projects. And once you start doing this, after a while, you'll see that that money doesn't stop with the people you give it to, or the value or the time that you give to these people, it usually trickles and it keeps going, and they use that value to bring Bitcoin to more people. Hopefully, at some point you realize, okay, I'm spending way too much Bitcoin helping others. It's time for others to help me. And you go out and you ask for support from other companies, from other funds, grants, other individuals. So again, you need to go out into the world and find people that can support your endeavors so you don't go bankrupt. Nobody wants you to have no Bitcoin just because you gave it all away. And again, you'll see that once your value spreads, you'll see that your network starts growing. You meet other Bitcoiners that complement your skills. They help you with other stuff that you wouldn't even think about. And you just grow the network, and suddenly you find yourself completely integrated in the broader Bitcoin economy. And ultimately, we all want everybody to be on Bitcoin as deeply as we are, or even deeper, so we can learn from them. But also we want all the projects around us to accept Bitcoin, because ultimately, we just want to spend Bitcoin. So how do I did it? This was all about you until now, and now I'm going to talk about myself, because this is the path that I am most familiar with. Again, you start with myself. What were the things that I was struggling with in Bitcoin, and the things that I found hard to do in Bitcoin? I thought this is the best way I can contribute, is to help facilitate other people to get access to it. People that are not as enthusiastic about the projects, and they have a barrier because of design that's not fully developed, or UX that creates barriers. So the two first projects, or this is the first project I ever worked publicly in Bitcoin. It's a website that parses the whole chain, finds op return messages, and lists them all, and invites people to post their own message. I developed this project at the time of the block size wars, so it was a little bit controversial whether or not it was sound to be putting op return messages on the chain. It proved to be unsustainable because fees went up and nobody wanted to pay for transactions fees just to write little messages. But I did have a lot of people use this website to wish other people happy birthday and leave stuff on the chain. But it was also very interesting to find all the crazy stuff that other people are leaving on the chain. Then the first project I worked on that was fully open source and actually had a couple of forks and had some contributions that I never asked anybody to do. It's just suddenly I got an email with a pull request, and I was like, wow, someone just improved my project by a lot without me ever asking. Some people took this project, changed the colors and embedded in their website. This is just HTML and JavaScript. I'm always trying to do things as bare bones as possible, so anybody can run this without the server, without anything, just straight up, run it in their browser, copy the JavaScript code and change it. That's how I learned to do web stuff, was just stealing other people's code. Then, I think once you scratch that first initial itch, you go on and try to contribute to existing projects. And this is helpful because a lot of people already have a lot of work done. And once you insert yourself in other people's projects, you get to know the team, you get to know how people work open source, and how all the challenges that come with managing a project with a team where people don't know each other, never seen each other. So these two projects that I'm a contributor in, Bisq had a really poor UI designed by engineers. I proposed something, they were really excited, and together we worked on implementing the new UI. For Mempool, they need a lot of design, especially now as they're growing. They need more material to put the brand out there and help promote the project. So this proposing work for existing projects has enabled me to meet the teams and then get invited and being called to participate in other projects that I didn't even suggest. And we ended up doing a bunch of back covers for the Bitcoin magazine, especially the El Salvadorian issue that sits somewhere at Bukele's office with Bisq and Mempool joint ad. And it's really important for us because we try to keep the message as cypherpunk as possible so people enter through the beautiful history or the beautiful story of El Salvador adopting Bitcoin. They flip the magazine and they're pushed to these maximums of Bitcoin like trusted third parties our security holds. Alternatively, you can join a big institution. A big team will help you have a much bigger reach. Obviously, bigger budgets, bigger knowledge of the fields that I don't have any domain over. In this case, I joined the team at Bitcoin conference around 5 years ago. And this is how it started, with a design for a static background for the open source stage at Bitcoin 2022, and it's currently going with American presidential candidates speaking in front of the backdrops that we design. This can only be done with a big team, with a lot of reach, with people that have interest in politics. Some of the other projects I work, people have no interest in politics. I personally think that Bitcoin is all-encompassing, so we need to do it all. You can also try to sell a product. That's very hard because Bitcoiners don't want to give away their Bitcoin even if you make really focused Bitcoin products. My really focused Bitcoin products are books about the source code, posters that break down the content of interesting pieces of data of Bitcoin, and it's all done under the brand of Pirate Hash, where we just accept Bitcoin. We never accepted fiat. We get the orders and we send out these products to people that are willing to give their sats to me, I guess. You can also partner with a Bitcoiner. If you have a partnership one-on-one, peer-to-peer with another Bitcoiner that has complementary skills to your skills, you can go really fast and build really amazing things that leverage the existing technology. So in this case, we have a game there on the expo hall called Chain Duel. This is an educational application that teaches people to spend Bitcoin, learn about Bitcoin, the technology and the protocol. It also fosters people hugging in real life after they lose or win a game. It helps move Bitcoin from big holders to small holders, because sometimes we do tournaments where everybody deposits 50,000 sats and then the winner takes all. And the goal is to eventually have people that have no Bitcoin go to a bar, challenge someone to play Chain Duel. They maybe don't have any sats, but they will win the game, do the work, win the sats, and then be able to pay stuff with it. And on the side there's PubPay, also a collaboration with Francis. This is something that we developed in a program in Madeira, Sovereign Engineers, and the goal is to take Nostr, remove the Nostr brand, and create a Venmo where you can go viral. So imagine that you issue a request to be paid, and the person pays you, but someone engages with it on your social feed, and more people start paying, and suddenly you're raising money only through your client. You don't need to use third-party systems. If anybody else that's running a client wants to support the tags that we're suggesting, they can create the UI and enable people that use Nostr to do one-tap zap for specific amounts or request bigger amounts. They can split payments. They can forward payments from their account to other accounts, all through the power of Lightning, all through the power of zaps, and it enables people to have social proof of payments. because all these apps and all these events are cryptographically signed, and it's all public. Another way you can have some impact on Bitcoin is to develop a project and then go search for funding so you can actually fund other people to build that project. In this case, we started a while back with just an idea of a design to make a Bitcoin application that creates a UX, a user experience completely from scratch, or as much as possible from scratch, that is purely focused on Bitcoin. So it does away a little bit with the traditional banking app, send and receive, and it starts changing the language to sign and broadcast. And it introduces a bunch of UI patterns that are very specific to the management of UTXOs, the understanding of the mempool, and hopefully it becomes an educational tool, but also a tool for the power user, the people that want the same experience as Sparrow offers for desktop, but on a mobile experience. And we already have the support of the Bitcoin conference and OpenSats, and it's currently under development. But if anybody is interested in collaborating, we do have the money. We're lacking the manpower. So if you're interested in app development, React Native, if you're interested in BDK and Rust, this is all ripe for the taking. And alternatively, you can also look at the space and think, okay, Bitcoin is new, it enables new stuff. You can also try to create something completely new. In my case, I found that I love film and I love watching movies, and this is how I learn most of the stuff. I have problems with retaining information when I'm reading, but I retain information when I see it. And I think the best way, the most efficient way to teach people about Bitcoin is to have a video that's free to anybody to watch, free to download, and free to change. You put it online and people will watch it if they're interested in Bitcoin. In 1 hour, 2 hours, hopefully it condenses everything. It took me around 10 years to learn. It tries to condense it as much as possible into 1 hour experience. It has a bunch of components. It tries to cover the Bitcoin protocol from the bits and the zeros and ones that compose the data that moves along Bitcoin and moves along the node. It maps it out in 3D space to show how it could look if it was a physical object. Here we see the blockchain, the difficulty adjustments. This is the Genesis block being built bit by bit. You can see the translation to hexadecimal and to ASCII, and you can see the message that Satoshi left us. But you can also take the code, run on your node, render it in 3D, all using free and open source software, and I can guarantee you that if you're looking at the same Bitcoin chain, you will get the same visualization. All these blocks, they are this size because they are in fact this size on chain. So the goal for me, I've been told, dude, you need to focus on stuff, you're spread out too thin, nobody can work on this many projects. But because I'm not working alone, I know that these projects can be done because other Bitcoiners come in, they join the projects, they take it their own way, they move on to other stuff, they leave an open space for someone to come in and collaborate, and there's opportunity to touch every single aspect of Bitcoin. Nobody will tell you, you're not a specialist in that, you're not the expert. You need to go in and make yourself the expert. You need to build yourself up, present your projects to the team, present your projects to other Bitcoiners, and hopefully they'll support you and they will help you do what you want and make Bitcoin what you want Bitcoin to be. And that's my talk. Thank you.